Hello. Hello, hello. I missed y'all. I haven't seen y'all in a while, but I am here now to talk to y'all about this topic, self-care for women on the go. Let me just be honest with y'all, I'm doing some practice. So I'm going to talk about self-care and what it really means, and how we can start to practice it on a regular basis. I consider myself like an unlicensed therapist, by the way. So in the past few years, let's get started in it. I'm Cecile of mommyEvolve. Um, I'm doing business as mommyEvolve, but the name of my business is Evolution Solutions. So if you see that more often, then I'm rebranding, which is fine because I'm an educator, so I'm returning to my roots and I'm doing things around that way. But that's all. So self-care for women on the go. First of all, let's get back to some historical stuff. It's been within the past, I don't know, maybe 100 years, probably not that many, that women started to go into the workforce to work, just as much as, sometimes even more than men. And however, we've also kept the duties of the home. Right? This is a very short and truncated version of the history. And with that, we've taken on a lot more responsibilities, and I feel like it has affected us mentally, spiritually, health-wise, all of that. And so now I feel like part of the revolution and evolution of that is this shift in how we're seeing all this self-care stuff going on, all this conversation around women's empowerment, all the shifts and dynamics between relationships between men and women, and how women are starting to take their role back of being primarily in the home. And I think that that's a great thing because it's important. It's important for so many reasons. I can get into it from, children being well educated in the home, knowing how to do practical things in the home. When I first went to college, I was like, child, I'm raised on, I don't know how to do these basic things. But anyway, that's another conversation. Again, very short, truncated version of what I'm going to get to. So now we are figuring out how to take care of ourselves again because we've lost the art. We've lost the art of being feminine in the sense that being the receiver and being the foundation of why things are built and what that's being built around. And so we're figuring out how to take care of ourselves. And so one of the most important things, oh, you can't hear me? Oh, thank you for telling me that. At least, thank you for telling me that. Girl, I have my microphone is supposed to be on my head. I'm sorry. Hopefully y'all heard everything that I was saying though. About how for the past 100 years or so, we women have been in the workforce, and that has taken us out of balance mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, because we're taking care of the duties of the home as well as the duties that we do in a workplace. And so that has taken us out of balance significantly. That as well as some other things, of course, our environment, how things have shifted in the way that we eat and the way that we do things, the toxicities, etc. And so, can you all hear me now? Hopefully you can. Let me just make sure you can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me now. Just, show a thumbs up, heart, whatever, if you can hear me. I apologize. So back to the conversation, self-care from women on the move. So women are on the move. I know that I have been personally on the move a lot. You have many women doing businesses, growing businesses, being entrepreneurs, taking care of children, taking care of their home, doing this and that and that and this. And again, it's taking a toll on our ability to really be clear about what we're even doing all of this for. And I feel like because of that, a lot of times our children don't get to see us and pick up our values. But anyway, I'm going north. Okay. The reason that I'm talking about self-care for women on the move is because I hope to give you tips that you can utilize to bring yourself back to yourself and start to restore some balance and order in your life. And so the first thing that we have to do in order to practice self-care, no matter what situation we are in, is to really get the depth of understanding about what self-care is. What is the definition of self-care, right? So the dictionary says that self-care is, very simply, the definition is care one takes of self. Okay, that's dictionary.com. That's simple, right? But what does that mean? How do you take care of yourself, right? Because now we're talking about, we learned how to take care of ourselves from people who may not have known how to take care of themselves. And we may have been learning in ways that other people were taking care of themselves and not being true to our process, right? So those are the two things that you consider. So now with that understanding, my definition that I define in my book, the Mommy Magic Handbook, which you can find on my website, www.mommyEvolve.com, is the mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical attention we give ourselves daily. Okay? The mommyEvolve definition is the mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical care we give ourselves daily. Now, with that definition, we have a clearer view of what that looks like, right? So mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical. But I know that sometimes when we think physical, all right, I'm gonna go exercise, but it's not just about exercise. It's about how your body feels and whether or not you are getting certain nutrients, you're getting sleep, why you may not be getting sleep, but that all goes into the mental and emotional, right? So it's not separable. It all goes together. Okay. So now that we have that understanding, I think it's very critical to even take the word self-care out of it and to even get even more clear. Some of the synonyms that we use are self-preservation to define self-care, self-knowledge, self-awareness, self-expression, self-love, inner truth, and self-confidence. Because now, and if you think of any other words, please feel free to put them down in the chat. Because these words make it even more clear of what it means to take care of yourself. So whether you're on the go or not, what does it mean to take care of yourself? Is to practice self-preservation, self-knowledge, self-awareness, self-expression, self-love, inner truth, and self-confidence, as well as other things, whatever you can think of. But those things that allow you to focus on yourself. Focus on what you feel, what you think, why you're thinking it, how you are thinking it, what different other ways you can think that, what ways to define how you feel, the emotions that you're experiencing. All of those things are now thrown into self-care because we have a lot of things that happen to us on a daily basis, and a lot of times we never process them, right? So, the children start acting up and we're confused. We don't know what to do about the children acting up, right? Somebody cuts us off on the highway and we want to cuss them out, but we don't cuss them out, or we do cuss them out, but, we don't feel satisfactory about how we cuss them out. So we keep talking about it. We don't know why we're so frustrated over the fact that somebody cut us off, because people have cut us off before, right? So oftentimes when you're ready to cuss somebody out, honestly, you need to go sit with your own self, quite frankly. So redefining self-care and giving more meat to the conversation, what it means to practice self-care. So you define it by understanding self-preservation, self-knowledge, self-awareness, self-expression, self-love, inner truth, self-confidence. And again, please feel free to drop more words down in the bottom that you can consider. So now that we have that clarity, hopefully, about how to define self-care, now we have to think about unraveling our relationship to self-care work. Right? So when we hear self-care, I've heard a lot of people say, there's an article floating around that said that, for example, Black women need more than self-care or something like that. And in the article, it goes on to talk about, structural issues such as lack of community. Well, in that case, that's self-care. And by the way, a lot of what we need that is considered self-care is really just human, right? Community is self-care, because we are not individuals that can function as individuals. We are community centered, especially people of indigenous people, right? You separate people from their land, you separate people from their cultures. That's why a lot of people are returning to their cultural ways or learning cultural ways, because that is an act of self-preservation. That is keeping your spirit intact. That is practicing self-knowledge and self-awareness. That is finding ways to find your inner truth. And so when you have people who are walking around, and many of us have done that, and many of us are unraveling from this, but when we have people walking around playing the game and doing what they think they're supposed to do, that is a huge separation of yourself from the truth of who you are. Because you may not have processed, well, do I actually even want to do this? Like, I'm mad at the person that cut me off, because the truth of the matter is that I don't actually want to even be driving to work or driving home from work for 1 hour and sitting in traffic. That's the truth of who you are. And so now you're accumulating stress in your body, in your spirit, because you're doing things that you don't even want to do. That is the core of self-care. Are y'all following me? Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? If y'all are, then throw some thumbs up. So, so when we're looking at deconstructing our relationship with how we've been taught to take care of ourselves, which is usually the hair and the nails, then we start to understand that when we get our hair and our nails done, we feel good, they're getting the hair done. It's cool. Your edges be laid. Edges be looking smooth. Nails be looking good. But I started to deconstruct that. And I was like, well, every time I get my nails done, it damages my nails, and I want my natural nails to look good. So then I started to figure out, well, how does your natural nails look nice? And so I said, and this is my nail growth, y'all. My nails have never been like this for this long. So I'm showing them off. These are my real nails. So far. But seriously, I started to figure out how to take better care of my skin, my nails, my hair on my own without having to deal with the stress of sitting in a salon for 7 hours, which is something that I've never enjoyed, ever. You're absolutely right, Elise. Listening to, something that you like to listen to is an example of community. That's one thing that Facebook has done. It has created communities of people who have like minds, and it has created the ability to explore different communities that you may not have had exposure to, right? So absolutely. And one of the things that oftentimes, especially as mommies, we don't get the chance to get out a lot. So we spend a lot of time with our children and our spouse. And while we may love them, We need to get out and be around our sister friends, to go and do things that we like to do, go to lectures. Or I'm so blessed because I live in between Princeton University and Rutgers University. And God knows he landed me right here because I love to go listen to a good lecture or go see somebody talk, or those kinds of things, or go to a festival or go see a play that doesn't cost $10,000, So I'm here for a reason. So when we're talking about self-care for women on the move, really defining self-care for yourself in a way that really centers you. So for a lot of women, that means that we need to practice more self-awareness. And to practice more self-awareness, we may need to do less than we have been taught that we should do. Because our belief that we picked up that we should be doing everything for everyone has taken us away from understanding why we do a lot of the things that we do. And this is critical for self-awareness, because when we're just doing things on autopilot, which is what many of us do, then we are probably upholding something, a system, a thought, a pattern that does not serve us, right? So, for example, I've done a video on this before where I talked about how when we were younger, and it was not a bad thing, but when we were younger, we would have to get up Saturday mornings, clean the house, and then after we clean the house, then we can go about our business and do things. And that served me well. It's actually something that I'm teaching my daughter now so that she could clean. But that put a lot of pressure on me mentally to get up on Saturday mornings as a grown working adult. What I didn't, the gag is that my mama was having us get up and do all the cleaning because she had worked all week and she was tired and she wasn't finished to be doing all that, right? And I feel it. But what I was doing was getting up and doing the same thing instead of having everybody else doing it. I was thinking that I needed to be the one doing it, when in fact I should have been delegating and everybody else should be doing it, or I need to hire a cleaner, right? And I did almost hire a cleaner, but I'm frugal. I have to tell y'all that. I'm frugal. So I did not hire a cleaner. What I started to do was throw stuff away. Okay. I'm a minimalist. I'm a minimalist. So I started to say, you know what? Let me start getting rid of stuff. Somebody actually told me that. Somebody here on Facebook, they were like, no, you don't got to hire a cleaner. Get rid of stuff. And you'll see how easy it is to keep your house clean. So shout out to my Facebook community because y'all the real ones. So that is part of understanding your self-care. We really have to start unpacking a lot of these concepts that we've had, because what these concepts have done for women particularly, it has limited us. It has limited us because we don't want to move ourselves out of that routine, because then we're afraid of how we're seen, right? Oh, her house is not clean. All right, well, help her clean it. And I would say this all the time, like, especially when I was a single parent and I was really doing everything on my own. I was like, people would, oh, your daughter's hair doesn't look meticulous. This is when I was like on my own. I had moved out of my mom's house. So I really just didn't have time. And I would be like, well, I don't have time. How about y'all comb my hair for me? Like, I've done it for friends many a times. Like, they may have had time to comb it. I comb their hair. Like, why criticize me when you know that I have a heavy load? This is part of community, being community minded too. This is part of returning to ourselves. Like the course I did some years ago, Return to the Mother. This is a part of returning to that community concept. And this is a part of practicing self-care. This is community. And that requires a level of vulnerability, because a lot of us have our pride and we want to be able to take our children to salons. And, we feel like if they don't look a certain way, or if we ask somebody for help, then we look like we can't do things. but it is highly destructive to yourself. And remember, self-care is self-preservation. Self-care equals self-preservation. It is highly destructive to yourself to not ask for the assistance that you need when you need it, because you're constantly holding up a front, right? So we have to unpack these conversations and have these real conversations with ourselves and with our friends, right? And listen, befriend a hairdresser so you have somebody on on task with you. But there's a lot of structures that really keep us limited. You know, it's societal, it's family, it's socioeconomic, and it's racial and ethnic, right? Because as Black women, we really have this extra burden, and we really hold ourselves to this standard of doing it all by ourselves because we don't trust people. We don't trust people with our stories. We don't trust people with our tasks. We don't trust people with anything. And so one of the things that we must do in order to practice self-preservation and self-care is to learn to trust and not feel like everything needs to be perfect, right? And so we really have to talk about that and consider how powerful that is. So what does lack of self-care look like? Persistent fatigue, and if you have any of these or anything else, talk about it. Drop it in the notes. Persistent fatigue, excessive mind chatter. These are all things that I had. So I'm just rolling off the stuff that I know. Constant worries about what others think. Using coffee to stay motivated and awake. I know that's going to be controversial because a lot of people like to drink coffee. You know, America runs on some coffee. Aches and pain, anxiety, depression, or other ailments that are deemed normal. Running on adrenaline. And adrenaline actually is an acute stress hormone. Okay. So we only used adrenaline when we were in an immediate danger. Now our bodies think that we're constantly in immediate danger. And this is why our bodies are breaking down. Our hormones are out of whack because we are running on adrenaline. Overwhelm, panicking over little things, eating unhealthy constantly. So sugar cravings, consistent and persistent sugar cravings. When I started to heal myself, my sugar cravings basically went away, right? Because now my body didn't need that energy, because when you're in that constant stress and you're running on adrenaline, your body burns up glucose first. And so your body constantly feels like it needs sugar. And so your glucose gets out of balance. You know, it's crazy what happens to your body when you're constantly in this stress state where you're not taking care of yourself. Insomnia, which is something that I hear a lot. Tension in the body. Now I sleep so much better. I used to have insomnia. Now I sleep great, y'all. Tension in the body. So when your shoulders are always up like this, and I was just at the chiropractor the other day, and she was saying how women usually are like this, right? So when she comes in, most of the women that she sees, their shoulders are always up like this, or there's some kind of imbalance with their shoulder and their upper back and such, right? From them constantly being hunched like this, from being stressed. So even right now, if you pay attention to yourself, what's your jaw doing? Is your jaw relaxed? Are your shoulders relaxed? Are your feet on the floor and relaxed? Pay attention to your body. Do we ever get ahead? What do you mean? At least I'm not sure what you mean by that. So relax your body, be aware of your body and how often you do that. That is a simple way right there just to take care of yourself in the moment and really be conscious of the thoughts that are running through your mind when your body is doing that. Highly recommend going to the chiropractor. Okay. Holistic one. Some chiropractors don't explain. I love my chiropractor. They will sit there and explain things to you, and and I love it. Because your nervous system is going to need to be healed. And that's one of the ways that you can heal your nervous system. Okay. And the way you breathe. Are you breathing strong, long breaths? Or are you panting, basically? All right. So being aware, self-awareness, being aware. So self-care is being self-aware. Self-care, self-aware. Self-care, self-aware. How is your body? What's your body doing? Are you stressed? Or are you relaxed? Simple, right? But now when you know that you're stressed, you have to understand and get to the heart of why you're stressed. Okay. What are you thinking? What are you believing? What are you not doing? Are you not getting any exercise? And exercise does not have to be you go into the gym and spend an hour. If you don't have time for that, YouTube is a very powerful tool. Child, I put on YouTube this past winter, and there's this whole walking workout program on YouTube where you can walk 4 miles right in your house for 45 minutes. It takes. If you don't have 45 minutes, do the 20-minute one. But that simple thing increases your blood flow through your body. It increases your ability to breathe deeper. It stretches your muscles, and that will help your body feel lighter, more relaxed. It'll help you to be able to think more clearly, solve problems easier, etc. That blood flow is very important, and most of us are not getting the blood pumping, circulating through our bodies fully, from our heads down to our feet. Okay. If you have a mate, a foot massage is a great way to relax. If you don't have a mate, massage your own foot. But I'm serious. Okay. You have to take care of yourself. It's your responsibility. Or go see a foot reflexologist. So I'm going to have a reflexologist at my next Mommy Mini Retreat on October 19th. A foot reflexologist, because she's going to teach techniques on how to do foot massage for yourself, for your mate, and for your children. Massaging your children is very, very, very beneficial for them. Extraordinarily. You can even take your children to chiropractor. My daughter went with me this past week, and she the doctor, it's a husband and wife team chiropractic office, and the husband actually specializes in being in a chiropractic work for babies. So if your baby is 6 weeks old or whatever, he does chiropractor work on them, because when they're coming through the birth canal, sometimes they get out of alignment, and that can affect whether they're able to sit, or lay a certain way to get the breast, if they're breastfeeding, or the bottle or whatever. And so that's something that women can be aware of. Or sometimes even when they have certain stomach issues, it's because their back is out of alignment. Did you know that? So, okay. So just be mindful of that. Self-awareness, and looking for the information. You can heal your body from anything. Okay. So stages of stress. So we get stressed, our adrenaline gets heightened, cortisol gets elevated to dampen the inflammation that our body creates from the adrenaline. And then that happens constantly, persistently, and burnout and adrenal fatigue occurs. So your adrenal system is basically your hormonal system from your pituitary gland to your womb. Okay. And we need to be mindful of different things that we can do to keep our bodies from being stressed. So, I take herbs. Okay. I'm a huge herb person. I had a whole conversation on my page today about CBD and all of that, because I'm just curious about things. But I'm more of a purist. I just like to use the plants the way that they're used. So lemon balm is a huge use thing for me. Motherwort is huge for me. All of those things are things that help to reduce the effects of stress on your body. Okay, they're called adaptogens. There's so many of them in nature that you can Google it, find it. I sell, lemon balm, nettles on my website. I haven't started doing the other herbs yet. I actually want to come up with a blend. But you can go and you can find that on my website and order that. Okay. But those are things that you can do to keep your body. So instead of drinking coffee, which is what we do when we feel stressed, drinking some kind of herbal tea that will reduce your stress would be great. Today I got a tincture bottle of Damiana. That's another herb that you can use. And that's something that you could actually get from, if you live in an ethnic city, you could go into the Spanish store and ask them for it, and most likely they will have it. And it won't cost that much money. Okay. And these things are things you can give to your children, you know, in small doses. Check with the herbalist. Okay. I'm my own herbalist, so I give myself and my daughters whatever I choose because I'm at that space in my life where I trust myself and what I do. And so if you don't feel that way, get with an herbalist and they'll tell you. I know plenty of herbalists, and I know some that even give children things like CBD and all of those things, because that's ancient. That stuff has been happening forever. It's not that serious, to be honest with you. But you have to trust yourself. Anyway, I get off of topics. Anyway, self-care for women on the go. So herbs, self-awareness, self-preservation. Okay, defining self-care well, being aware of your thoughts and emotion, your beliefs and attitudes about yourself and what you are here for. Okay, using your words well. So I used to say the word "I'm tired" all the time. And what I know for sure is that the words we use are very powerful. So when I was using "I'm tired," of course, that's going to proliferate my "I'm tiredness." I'm going to be tired. So now what do I say? I need rest, because that's the truth. I need some rest. I need to go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. I'm not tired. I just need some rest. There's a different energy behind those. You know, there's this thing where we talk about high energy words, because there are words that have a higher energy frequency than other words. Okay, and saying I need rest is more precise than saying I am tired. You know, they say whatever you put behind I am is a testament to who and what you are. And I'm not tired. I need rest. Okay. All right, y'all. Does anybody have any questions? Because I'm getting to the end. The other thing that I really want y'all to do is to be able to label your thoughts and emotions well, your emotions and your feelings well. Because I feel like oftentimes we don't label our feelings well. Like we get anxious, or we're angry, or we're frustrated, but we say that we're angry, right? So, or we say that we're mad when we are confused. Or so there is this needs inventory that gives you this whole list of words that you can use to express your feelings, right? And I think that it's a very important thing to do in your vocabulary, because we oftentimes don't have the verbiage to express how we feel, how we think about a particular situation or a thing. And so please consider looking at that. It's called the needs inventory. Okay, it's a needs inventory, and it gives you a list, and it's made by the Nonviolent Coalition. Really? It's called the Nonviolent Coalition, or NVC, and it has a needs inventory. And it gives you a very great and comprehensive list of words that you can use for the most common words. It's kind of like in elementary school. Well, I don't know if y'all remember this, but I know I've done it as an English teacher. So, you know, students oftentimes like to use the same words. So they'll use happy all the time, or they'll use I jumped all the time instead of saying I vaulted, right? And vaulted has a more stronger meaning than jumped, right? And so, in a more precise meaning, you can visualize exactly what's happening. That's what we need to do. We need to become more clear about the words that we are using to describe situations and how we feel. Because with doing that, we can now give ourselves a solution and really get to the bottom of why we're feeling that way. So we kind of have to do that thing that curious children do and ask ourselves why, until we get to the bottom of why we are feeling the way we're feeling. So then we can start to deconstruct that. We can become more aware of it when we're feeling that way, right? So self-care for women on the go. I know that was a lot, but I did give you some tips and tools that I think are very powerful in all things that I have used and continue to use, because they're time tested, right? They're things that we always can revert back to bring ourselves back to center and really get clear about what it is that we need. Because oftentimes when we are on the go, and honestly, the final tip that I recommend is just to really ask yourself, why am I always on the go? Why do I feel the need to always have my schedule filled up with things that I feel like I'm obligated to do? How is any of this serving me? Is it impacting me? Am I doing it out of obligation, some false obligation? Am I doing it out of guilt? Am I doing it out of love? Or why am I doing it? Because I always say that you can help people in many ways. You don't have to physically be there. You can send them a gift. If a person wants you to come to an event and you can't make it, you can buy a ticket anyway and have somebody else go, or, choose to not, go, or whatever. There's so many ways to do things, but we always feel like we have to be front and center for everything and everyone. But there is power in our rest. In our rest, we conjure. I say this, I've said it 1,000 times. In our rest, we conjure. But when we're constantly on the go, we're just conjuring for everything and everyone else and not for ourselves. And in my personal process of taking away things that I've been doing, only to do things that I desire, truly desire to do, the manifestation of the things that I desire have quickened because I'm clear. Oftentimes when we're getting things that we don't want, that's what we're focusing on. We're not focused on and being clear and getting clear about what we do want. And so part of our self-care and really living the best life, our best lives, is to really be clear about what it is that we truly desire. And guess what? Don't be mad at your past experiences, because that's data. That's telling you exactly, where not to go. Right? You know yourself best. So for superb emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical health, we have to practice self-awareness, self-preservation. Okay? Being aware of our bodies, being aware of our thoughts, being specific about what it is that we think and feel at the moment. Being clear about what we want, what we truly want. And most of all is knowing that whatever it is that we want, we can get. Anybody that has achieved anything is no special than you and I. They just knew exactly what they want, and they fought for that thing. So the question that you can and should ask yourself is, what are you currently fighting for? What are you currently fighting for? Are you fighting for the life that you desire to live? Or are you fighting for the life that you have been given, that you don't even know if you want that? You have to be the one to think about that. I can't think about that for you. Anybody that is a healer is only here to assist you in unraveling that and getting to the heart of who you are and helping you clear away the gunk and the false perceptions, the false ideals and the false stories and the false beliefs and the blah, 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 all this stuff. Because as I say in when I do the Mommy Mini Getaway, I start with my signature self-care empty cup demonstration right? So people always say, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I said, well, I don't think that many women are pouring from an empty cup. I think women are pouring from cups that are full with a lot of crap. Okay. It's full. It's just full with a lot of stuff that it's meaningless or unprocessed. It's gunk. All right, y'all. Part of my self-care is going to sleep, and I go to bed early. I do. And I'm unapologetic about it. I used to think I needed to stay up and do all this other stuff. Child, I'm over that. If I'm tired, I go to sleep. I take naps in the day. A nap is the best thing ever. Anyway, all right, y'all. I hope that y'all enjoyed this and that you've gotten some from it. Whatever you learned or what you got from it, please feel free to put that in the chat box and talk to me about it. If you have any questions, you can always email me, mommyEvolve@gmail.com, or follow me on, if you have not liked my page, mommyEvolve, on Facebook, then please do, or follow me on Instagram, mommyEvolve.com, at mommyEvolve, but mommyEvolve.com is my website. And yeah, just continue to know that you can always practice self-care, that it is an act of evolution to do so, and an act of revolution for many of us as well, to take your care, the care of yourself, the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual care of yourself in your own hands, and be self-aware, to self-preserve, to self-love, to do all of these things that self-care is. It's up to you. It is up to you to do all of that. Okay? Because I know you don't see, Oprah is busy. I mean, okay, that may be a bad example because she got money. So she could probably just call somebody to come do something and shit. But I'm just saying, people are busy. There are people who don't have the luxuries, certain luxuries. It's women that have to walk all the way to miles and miles just to get water or to find food or whatever. And they still take care of themselves. They still know. In fact, I tell this story all the time. When I lived in Ethiopia, one of the things that I learned or that I observed was, I don't care how quote unquote poor the woman was. If she had a baby, she had help. Somebody to come clean her house. And it could have been a family member, whatever. But she had help. But yet in this country, women are expected to take care of the home, the children, go to work, do all this stuff. Don't feel guilty for asking your general callers or your husband for money to go get a massage. For what? Because without your saneness and your sanity, the whole household will fall apart. Take care of yourself. Take the time. Get you a strategy. If you want a self-care plan, we can work on a strategy to get yourself away from doing all the stuff that you don't even want to do anyway. I'm serious. I'm not even playing. This is how I got myself to the point where I'm working for myself and, doing what I do. Because, a lot of y'all don't know what I do on the background. But anyway, the point is that I'm a much more rested, content, self-loving person today because I took care of myself. I took the time to take care of myself unapologetically. I believe that I could, and I did. And I believe that all of you can too. All right, y'all, I got to go for real this time. I've been talking too long. Have a superb weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day. Eat some good barbecue. Go for a walk. Hang out with family. Enjoy the rest of the summer sun. Love y'all. Peace.